After marrying Anna, Charlie could not have imagined that such a stupid situation would happen to him. It looked silly from the outside, but for Charlie himself it was a huge problem that he had created himself. And now I had to solve it somehow. Don't you love me anymore? Anna asked quite recently, and this question seemed to cut Charlie from the inside with a knife. What makes you think that? I tried to caress my wife, but she was cold and demanded an answer to her question. Why are you asking me a counter question instead of just saying yes or no? Anna said resentfully, pursing her lips, as those who are not ready for the answer I love you usually do, Charlie said. But he was not sure of the truthfulness of his confession, because Anna was his wife, a woman with whom he had lived for more than 5 years, the mother of his only child, the one who was there in any life situation. How could he tell her that he had fallen out of love? The reason for the cooling of feelings, no matter how banal it was another woman. Charlie often visited the neighboring city on business trips, and that's where Amelia lived. Acquaintance with her did not portend anything serious. Amelia worked as an administrator at the hotel where Charlie stayed during his business trips. At first, the man did not pay attention to the young girl who was polite and helpful to him. He was used to the fact that the staff should be attentive to customers, so he did not have any suspicions about Amelia's attitude to himself. However, over time, he began to notice how she looked at him, how she talked to him, how she tried to find the best room for him and wake him up in the morning. All this spoke of excessive care for him. It so happened that on one of his business trips, Charlie and his colleagues celebrated the delivery of the object, and therefore, on occasion, the men had a strong drink at the bar. Returning to the hotel, Charlie first went to the reception desk. Amelia, seeing Charlie, immediately smiled and offered to help. "Help me up, something's got me all worked up," Charlie complained, and Amelia readily grabbed his arm. "I just have a shift," she said. "You can leave the post under the supervision of a partner." Charlie, even though he was drunk, but he got the hint. Under the influence of alcohol, he was brave and determined. And Amelia did not resist. He himself did not understand why he needed it. Just in time there was a young and beautiful girl who was ready to help fulfill any whim of his. So Amelia stayed in his room until morning. When Charlie woke up, he realized that there was another woman next to him. Clutching his head, he gritted his teeth and realized with regret that he had cheated on his wife. It was impossible to go back a day. It was already impossible to change anything, so I had to admit to myself that he had made an unfortunate mistake. "How good it was with you," Amelia, lying next to him, muttered and stretched out her hands to him. Charlie's vision darkened, as if some inner devil was pushing him to another sin. Amelia was so attractive, so affectionate, so desirable. Charlie didn't fight his own desire and fell back into her arms. More than 6 months have passed since then. About 1 to 2 times a month he went on a business trip, checked into the same hotel. And Amelia was looking for time to be in his room and stay with him until morning. The girl didn't know that Charlie was married. He couldn't admit it in time, and now it was too late. Their relationship has gone too far. The man realized this when he returned home once again. He went to bed with his wife and mentally was with Amelia. "What's the matter with you, Charlie?" His wife looked surprised. "It's like you're not with me," he shuddered and looked at his wife. "I'm sorry. I'm just thinking about work. The object is complicated, we're renting, so much has piled up. I don't have time to sort everything out. You've been coming back from your business trips a different person lately. Maybe if there's such a nervous job, you should look for another one." Charlie shook his head. No way. Amelia was there, and she needed him. Gradually they got to know each other. It turned out that Amelia had a younger brother who had diabetes. They had no parents, there was only a grandmother who lived in the wilderness. Amelia had to take care of her younger brother. There was so much to do, she explained to Charlie, and she could barely hold back tears. She constantly monitored her insulin levels, followed a diet, and underwent examinations. "Any illness for Vidya is a real hell," Grandma barely coped. "And I can't leave everything and take Vidya to the city, because he needs constant supervision. If he is not controlled, he will eat everything in a row, and this is harmful and dangerous for his life. I'm so tired." Charlie, where are the parents? He wondered. "No parents," Amelia replied bitterly. Vitya has only me. I'm spinning like a squirrel in a wheel. I rent a room, all the money goes to my brother's treatment. You know how I dreamed of being a flight attendant, traveling, seeing the world with my own eyes, learning how people live in other countries. But no, it's not my destiny to fulfill my dream. Charlie felt sorry for Amelia, wanted to help her somehow. He often reflected that he would like the woman who made him happy to be happy too. He thought less about his wife's happiness and more often thought about making another woman's life full. Now he was looking forward to being sent to work in the city where Amelia worked. He clung to every opportunity to get a referral on a business trip there in order to once again see the woman he loved and enjoy her company. "Charlie, have you got a mistress?" Thomas, his boss and friend, asked him with a grin. Charlie stared at Thomas in fright, blinked rapidly and mentally began to scroll through the answer options. "What makes you think that?" "Yes, you are so eager to go there that I'm starting to think that you have someone there. It's not work that beckons you there so much. Before, you didn't even want to think about business trips, and now you're just looking for an excuse to leave home." "I just want to take a break from my family," Charlie lied, although there was some truth in his words. Then the mother-in-law will descend, then the wife with her claims, the child is constantly ill, and there is beauty. No one is bothering your brain. I live as a free person. Yeah, Thomas laughed. "Look, Charlie, be careful." Charlie involuntarily blushed. He feels like a schoolboy who was scolded by the homeroom teacher for smoking. I felt uneasy. And in general, everything that had happened to him in recent months seemed wrong to Charlie, unfair to two women at once. He deceived both his wife and his mistress, and he himself was exhausted from eternal lies. However, he could not find a way out of this circle. So, Thomas handed over a document. "Here's a direction for you. Go there, take the object. You have 3 whole weeks of time for this. I think you're a smart guy. These 3 weeks are enough for you to solve your personal issues," he said. Charlie smiled. 3 whole weeks with Emily. It's crazy, he never dreamed of such a gift of fate. The maximum that they had was this week, and here there are 3. He called Emily, warned her about his arrival, then transferred money to her so that she could rent an apartment, because it was inconvenient to meet at the hotel, and bring Vidya, Charlie said. "It's time for me to meet your brother." He felt that everything inside was rejoicing in anticipation of 3 happy weeks. He rushed there as if on wings, hugged and kissed his Emily, gave her 8-year-old brother a robot with a remote control, and Vidya took the gift with a happy smile. 3 weeks was like a parallel life. Charlie left for work, then returned to the apartment, where Emily was waiting for him with a hot dinner and no less hot kisses. What bliss it was! The 3 of them went to the cinema, the zoo, rode horses, visited the doctor who monitored Vidya's condition, and not once during this time did Charlie think that this relationship should be stopped. On the contrary, he was thinking more and more about breaking up with Anna and proposing to Emily. "I'll pay the rent for the apartment for 6 months, Charlie said. Emily threw herself gratefully on Charlie's neck, and he felt like a real hero, a savior. Has he ever had such a thing? Not with Anna. Everything was quiet there, measured and calm, boring, gray and ordinary. And then there were fireworks, a holiday. No complaints and reproaches, no questions about whether he loves Emily or not. She knew everything without question. 3 weeks flew by like one day. I didn't want to go home at all. Charlie packed up his things, and Emily looked at him longingly. Why can't you transfer here? Quit and move in with us, or we'll move in with you. Charlie's heart began to beat faster. These were the questions he was most afraid of. But I fully expected. Honey, it's not that simple. It takes time. You'll be patient. Emily nodded sadly. I tolerate it. That's what men usually say who can't leave their wives and ask their mistresses to wait. What an insight! Charlie's breath caught in his throat. It was necessary to solve something urgently. It was simply unbearable to live in this lie. It's not like that. Don't screw yourself up. Charlie tried to calm Emily, while calming himself more. I'll think of something. He returned home with a heavy heart. I didn't want to meet my wife, especially to go to bed with her. 3 weeks of happiness seemed so far away, as if they did not exist at all. Now Anna will look at him and ask her questions again. About whether he loves her as well, whether his feelings are strong, what has changed in his attitude towards her. And he will have to lie and turn around, mutter something. Although Charlie is already insanely tired of all the lies in which he is stuck like a fly in a trap. "Where's your doorstep ring?" Anna asked, and Charlie caught himself. He was so lost in his thoughts that he completely forgot to put on his wedding ring. When Emily was there, the man took it off. And now, in the confusion and sad thoughts, I forgot to take it out of my jacket pocket and put it on my ring finger. "I forgot to put it on," he replied dryly, and then caught Anna's gaze on him. She stared at her husband as if she could read Charlie's mind. "Why did you take it off so that she wouldn't guess that you have a family?" "I'm not stupid, we're married. We've been living together for a long time, more than 5 years, and I've studied you perfectly." "What have you studied there?" Charlie winced. "I'm not research material. I know you have another girlfriend there, in that city. I was not too lazy and followed you. I saw you together, you and her son." "What?" Charlie staggered. He did not expect such an act from his wife. It turned out that there was no need to explain. Anna knew everything. "I understand now what drew you so much to these endless business trips. Only now you have to make a choice: either you stay with me and Dima, or you go to the one for whom you take off your wedding ring." Charlie was standing in the middle of the hallway, not even having time to take off his shoes. It's good that Dimka was in kindergarten and didn't hear what his parents were talking about. What was happening now in the family was terrible. Charlie had never felt so ashamed and so unpleasant, and the most unpleasant thing was that he himself was the instigator of this situation. Anna didn't cry, she didn't throw tantrums, didn't scream, didn't beg him to stay. She firmly offered her husband a choice: either she or Emily. "She doesn't have a son, it's her brother." Charlie defended himself, but Anna just shrugged. "It doesn't matter at all," she replied. "You're sleeping with another woman, in fact you live in 2 families. So you have to make a choice. I will not tolerate your adventures, but for Dima's sake, for his sake, I am ready to accept you and pretend that nothing happened." What generosity, Charlie thought to himself, and then grinned. Even if Anna forgives him now, she will never forget about her husband's infidelity. She will remember what happened at every opportunity. "No, it's better than Emily. At least there are feelings there, but nothing here. Except Dima. Do I have to make a choice now?" "Is it cold?" Charlie asked. "You won't even give me a chance to wash my face from the road?" "I'll give you an opportunity. Wash up, then have dinner. And after that, we will not raise this topic and no longer collect ourselves on a business trip. Or collect your things right away and send them to another address, if you set such conditions," Anna said. Charlie spread his hands. "Then I have to leave." Anna's face trembled. Apparently she was sure that Charlie would stay with her. But no, let it be as Charlie wanted. He loved Emily all the way home, but he didn't want to be with Anna. "Stop playing for 2 teams. This is wrong and stupid." He packed his things, and then went to a friend's house, spent the night with him. "And in the morning I came to work and wrote an application for leave at my own expense." Thomas, looking at Charlie's statement, only smiled wryly, but said nothing. Charlie rushed to Emily, flew to her as if on wings, was going to surprise her, please her, make her happy. He came to the house by taxi. I was just about to get out of the car when I suddenly saw Emily coming out of the entrance. There was a solid man next to her. It was Vitya. He also looked at Emily with such adoration that Charlie's insides turned upside down. He could not get out of the car, asked the taxi driver to take him to the nearest hotel. In the room, he opened the minibar, took out a small bottle of cognac, immediately emptied it, and then dialed Emily's number. "Where are you?" he asked. "In the park, picking flowers," she replied. "How did you get there? When will you come again?" "And I'm here, Emily," Charlie replied, feeling the long-awaited warmth and relaxation spreading through his body. "I saw you with someone and I know that it's not your brother, but your boyfriend. You don't want to tell me anything?" Emily fell silent. Charlie was silent too. "Charlie, why didn't you tell me you were coming?" "I decided to surprise you. I decided to please you. I've never liked surprises. And now I will definitely hate them for the rest of my life. This is probably the end," she said. "I felt good with you, but you won't be able to understand and forgive me. And you tell me what's going on, maybe I can. Let's meet and talk in an hour." She was in his room. Charlie looked at Emily and realized that he had fallen in love with her like a fool, and now it turned out that he was a real fool who had been tricked. He spent huge sums on paying bills, treating Vidya, and renting the apartment where Emily lived with her brother. And only for this, Emily was ready to sleep with him and act like she was in love. She played the role of a girl in love perfectly, and he really plunged into the story, losing his head. Moreover, he voluntarily helped her and her family financially. "Vidya is my son," Emily said, lowering her head. "I didn't tell you about it because you would have asked a legitimate question about his father." This man was not free and hardly participated in their life, but he and Vidya loved him very much. Charlie realized that he had made a huge mistake by giving up his family for something that didn't really exist, true love and the real Emily. He fell in love with his own fictional feelings. The next day Charlie came home, stood at the door for a long time, knocked and rang. He came back to apologize and try to start over. "You change your mind so quickly," Anna chuckled. "Unfortunately, I'm not like you, and I don't change my decisions. Go away." "What about Dimka, our marriage?" he asked. "You said yourself that you gave me a choice, and I made it." "I want to change everything," Charlie said in a pleading voice. "You've already changed everything," Anna replied. "First of all, you cheated on me. Go away, Charlie. I filed for divorce. How do you like this story? Write in the comments. Subscribe to the channel, I really need it. Thanks.